Good morning, Dave Hernandez.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm okay. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you so much for making the time to do this.
It's a pleasure. I started talking to people about music in Albuquerque, punk rock music, all music, and I've been told things like Dave Hernandez was such a good guitarist even when we were really young.
Damn fucking right.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's so inaccurate. I mean, I've always liked playing guitar, and I think I can memorize a song really well. And but yeah, that's nice to hear. I've been playing since I was 10. Yeah, first time I picked up guitar was I didn't always just play the guitar, but I always wanted to. You know, like the first time I saw Angus Young footage or whatever, like in the late 70s. And, you know, I think Sex Pistols got me into like, oh, cool. Then now you can do crazy stuff with your hair and throw shit. But I was in like marching band as well. I played trumpet, which was super random. But yeah, for a
That's
couple years.
cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Music, were you in a music family?
No, actually. Yeah, not really. There's a lot of support. There's a lot of people in the family that liked me pursuing it or whatever. But yeah, it wasn't a whole lot of music players. There were music appreciators,
Okay.
but there wasn't a whole lot of like actual music creators on my mom's side. My dad's side a little bit. So my mom's side of the family, we go back in Albuquerque in like the territory of Barelas, like to the 1500s.
No kidding, really.
On my mom's side, yeah, yeah. And like she and all my tias and like my grandma were born in houses that are still in the neighborhood. Like she can point out, now it's full of like Airbnbs. It's a
Yeah,
trip going back.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I remember, yeah, I remember there was a shooting at the intersection of my grandma's house, and a bullet came through the wall and lodged in one of her fur coats
Really?
that she like never really wore except for special occasions, but I remember digging it out and looking at it. But yeah, I don't know if there's too much of that these days. Brian Banks told me a story because he's still there, and he's like, yeah, it's changed, but every now and then you'll see this random like holdover from the glory days, and
It's
just like
just
some like stumbling Neanderthal throwing a cinder block at you, yelling, and then a bunch of Airbnbs. So
funny place. I was home about a month ago, and they have taken out almost all of the motels. It's just
wow.
there's maybe one or two or three left, but it's like they just took them out, and it's like Pep Boys and gas stations.
That's a
It's
bummer.
really, it's really the first time that it was obvious. Now I know why there's so many homeless people. You closed all these motels.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So your family, way back when, did you say Borellas, you said?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm on my mom's side. And
Okay.
my father's side, Mexico City, and going back, we did that thing where you spit in the envelope and send it to the government, and then they tell you who you're related to. And I got some Sinaloa in me as well as like Basque in Spain. But for the most part, my dad's family is in Mexico City.
Okay.
And he was partying in San Francisco in the late 60s. And my mom lived in San Francisco for the entirety of that decade. And they met at a party, and she followed him back down. And I was born in Guadalajara, and then yeah, she brought me back up here,
Um,
and I just yeah, that's so
that's
that's
so,
that's how they met.
that's so cool though. So why was your dad still in
But yeah,
Mexico?
to answer your question, there's a lot more musicians on my father's side of the family.
Okay. Was your dad like he just
Does that make
went to,
sense?
yes, yeah, went to party in the Bay Area for a month, or he just happened to be there?
No, he and some buddies would go up and party, and you know run out of money and then get a free ride home, if
Okay.
that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Get themselves busted on purpose, and then kind of wash, rinse, repeat, and then just I don't know. They just had a lot of fun there.
That's
So yeah,
great. I'm shocked how many
he's
of
quite
these
he's quite a serious man now, and everything's great.
really. I am shocked
Yeah,
how many of these interviews are and our friends are all children of hippies. I mean, obviously we're born in that time period, but a lot of them were like raised by hippies that left Altamont and went to Taos.
yeah, yeah. Sort of similar vibe. So like when my mom brings me up to Albuquerque, where I pretty much stay, but there was like a few years of living here and there. There was a little town in Colorado called Crested Butte.
Hmm.
It's like a ski destination now, but back in the day, you mentioned Altamont. Back in the day, that was like where a lot of like bikers and hippies went, kind of post all that stuff to just kind of like mellow out and maybe have kids.
Okay.
And so I was there for like my kindergarten, yeah, my kindergarten year, and then came back to Albuquerque from first grade on. San Felipe Elementary and Middle School in Old Town,
Okay.
which is where I met Ray Cordova.
Second grade Ray.
I met him in second grade. Ray.
Okay. People keep telling he never told me that, but then when I posted this video, everyone kept going, second grade Ray.
That's such a yeah. I feel like everybody else uses that so much more than
Than you ever did.
yeah. I think I said it once and it was hilarious to someone. Um, yeah, I told it to Cody Willis from the Melvins once, and he's like, "Oh, is he okay in the head?" I'm like, "Oh, no, that's not why he's called second grade." Like, it's because I've known him forever. That's why.
Since
Yeah,
second
like
grade.
yeah, but yeah, we met there. You know, old Catholic school in the 70s and the 80s. 8 years of Catholic school in Albuquerque back then will definitely turn a kid into a Slayer fan
Oh, no
for
kidding.
sure. But yeah, so he lived on the west. No, yeah, he lived on the west side. I was in the North Valley, so we kind of lost touch for a minute, but we were always like kind of aware of each other's movements. And I think he and I got into punk rock around the same time and wanted to play in a band for the first time at the same time. So he and I we each of us had our first band with each other, and I played guitar and he sang. We were called
That's very cool.
Static.
Static.
Yeah, Static.
Was it
For
was it
for a while,
intentionally punk rock?
yeah, man. For a while, like back then, you had to have like kind of like a name that was like political leaning. So
Okay.
for a minute, we were censored Static, which
Okay.
doesn't really, it asks more questions than it answers. So
Okay.
but of course, I'm in a band called fucking Scared of Chaka. So who am I to speak
Hey, but I
worst
was
name ever?
scared of Chaka. Like,
Right,
I don't think that's funny. I
right.
was probably 40 and I was still having nightmares about that TV show.
Yeah, Chris Bell, who was playing drums in the Briefs, who's also from Albuquerque. He's the one that I think we did some digging, and I think he is the one that came up with that name.
Okay.
Wasn't in the band, but I worked at KUNM. I did like a radio show in like the early 2000s called Raw Guts, and we would do, hardcore and then interview bands.
Okay.
And a bunch of those kids that were like kids, like a couple years younger than me, but a bunch of them
Yeah.
were like ended up in Blind Nine and like UV Transmission. Um, he was with them, and I think we were just riffing on what's the stupidest band name, and he came up with I think he said Afraid of Chaka from Land of Lost, and I was like, oh my god, scared of Chaka, ha ha ha,
Ah, yeah. And
and yeah, so he's to blame. I blame him.
he's to blame. Yeah, it would be you pick a funny name and then your band gets really successful.
I know, right?
You got
That's
to live with that.
you got to live with it. I know exactly.
Yeah. People loved that band though.
Yeah, We did a lot of work. It was the 13th band I was in, maybe. No, no,
Oh,
no, maybe
exciting.
10th. I was in a lot of bands. I was in a ska band.
Okay.
Pretty cool, right? Ska.
Yeah.
I was in a band called
Fits.
what's that?
It fits.
Yeah, it's corny as
Fair.
shit. When I went to Valley High.
Okay, thank you. Going back a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
This should
thanks.
be chronological. So
Well, no,
I
I'm
was
the one
a.
that messes these things up. So,
It's good to tell stories. I like this. But I went to Valley High, and the thing that got me expelled was I put on a show for the band Operation Ivy.
okay.
And it was back when you just read about bands in Maximum Rock and Roll, and you could write a thing on a piece of paper and put it in another piece of paper and put it in a box and trust a human to bring it across the country. And
Yes.
then they do the same thing, and then maybe
It
there's
come.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then Operation Ivy shows up in Albuquerque one day.
They had printed up that they were going to be playing a show in Texas, and I was like, huh, they might be coming through Albuquerque. And I just randomly, I'd never done anything like that before. I like, I had the first 7 inch, and I liked it. As far that's as far as it went. They were super cool and wrote me back, and they were like, yeah, we would love to do whatever. And I didn't ask any questions. I didn't ask like, money. How do you do a show? I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I just so they show up, and I remember they come to my mom's house. She makes them grilled cheese sandwiches.
Shit.
A bunch of my friends know that they're coming, so they just like pretend to come by on some other random bullshit and
Yeah.
just like, hey, and then they just sort of started sitting around them like reading things and then just looking. Like I remember that distinctly.
Yeah, don't mind
And
me.
right. But what I'd done is I had secured the Performing Arts Center
Oh, at your
for
school.
well, I said we needed it for a debate team practice or something, and I told the vice principal that, and we went to Kinko's and drew a lot of flyers, and we made some copies, and we ran around taping them around like the frontier, and we expected hope 10 people will show up, and everybody showed up.
Everybody.
It seemed like the entire like everybody. It was crazy. And yeah, it was the parking lot was like looking back, it's insane. Like I didn't get any permits to like parking or whatever. Like, it was nothing. Like they just all piled in the parking lot. Someone tried to take money. No one, no one ripped us off. It was fine. Some band opened up. Maybe I was in a band that opened up. I don't remember, but I do remember the only light in the entire thing was a really bright like spotlight from the
Okay.
balcony.
Okay.
We had
That
to
was it.
position it so it wouldn't like burn anyone like an ant.
Okay.
It was either that or the whole thing. So we're like, yeah, let's do the spotlight. Someone brought a PA, but I guess what happened is the custodian staff came that night to do their like nightly cleanup, and then they saw that and they got terrified and they told the vice principal, who expelled me the very next day for that. And
Wow.
I went to Freedom High after that,
You
which
too,
was
huh?
great. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Uh,
too.
did did you go to Freedom High? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, but I didn't graduate Highland. I moved and went somewhere else. I mean, I don't think really anybody that did graduated from Freedom.
I have to say, like at the time, it was like just sort of fun, and also like people kind of made fun of it, and it was just kind of. But it was really the first time I'd ever had teachers kind of care, and I graduated. So props to Freedom High.
Well, and that's what everyone says now. Like that place really empowered a lot of people to take back their education and enjoy their education.
Totally,
Were you in
totally.
trouble at Valley before this? Were they just looking for a reason to get rid of you?
Yeah, I didn't like school. I had two junior years. I God, my mom was just she had her hands full. But yeah, I just it wasn't for me.
Okay.
And I was more just like kind of me and my friends were just sort of trying to be burnouts and punkers and like I remember heavy into Dead Kennedys, Suicidal, and Slayer, and early Metallica, like
Okay.
Kill 'Em All.
Okay.
And we would like me and a couple friends would always try to befriend like the bad kids that were a little older than us and
Yeah.
try to go to their parties
Yeah.
or make out with those girls.
Yeah.
Or it was just like you always had to have like some illusion of like a big brother taking you to
Yep.
some thing. But yeah.
Well,
Yeah. And
with
you know,
how was Valley at that point? Was there a lot of
people
crime?
say yeah, I mean people say it was super gnarly. It's all relative. I was in it, so it was just high school
Yeah.
to me. There
Yeah.
was like a lot of rough shit. I think about like so we were like the North Valley punks, right? And then there was
Okay.
like
Yeah.
other
Heights.
groups.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
like I have a teenage kid now and I think a lot about just the differences that social media present.
Oh my
And like
gosh.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And like positive and negative, it's whatever. But one of the main things is that you aren't able in the 80s to be in contact and like check in with people outside of your 5 block radius
Yeah.
every minute, like every minute. Back then, it was just you created these little cliques and groups.
That was
And
it.
I mean, I gotta tell the truth. Like for all the cliques and crews, the one clique that was the most legit and maybe intimidating and coolest and kind of toughest were the fucking Highland kids, you guys. And
Yeah.
I don't know why. Maybe it was
I don't.
because close to UNM or something. I don't
I.
know. I remember going to the frontier. You would have to always go with a friend or
Yep.
two or three.
Yep.
Back when it was 24 hours, remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you'd
Yeah.
walk in that front corner, front door, and if you stared directly down, there was the hallway to the back door that opened into the parking lot. Now
Mm-hmm.
it's just sealed off. Now it's just part of the
Mm-hmm.
kitchen. But do you
Yeah.
remember like
Yeah.
along the like you're inside along your right, and in that corridor there was like asteroids and defender, and then
Yeah.
some creep selling speed.
Yeah.
And that was where all the gnarly stuff went down because maybe you could hide behind a video game and no one would see you. But you know, I remember like it always kind of sucked if you had to leave or come in through that through that entrance if you weren't from that neighborhood. I remember like it was a
Yeah.
very tactile thing. It was real. But I mean, I don't know. It's just funny thinking about like just like the gatekeepy elements of of the scene back then. And you had to have like friends that were in it. Like I was friends with Steve Island. I remember that kind of allowed me
Yeah.
a little bit of
Yeah.
flexibility. Like, yeah, you couldn't just like roll up. It was definitely, yeah.
It
You know what
was
I'm
a.
talking about?
I do. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Like I was welcome at the frontier. I had enough friends in the right places that I was pretty much welcome wherever I wanted to go. But that doesn't mean I went there.
I
I
love that we're talking about the frontier like this, like essentially our Denny's.
yeah.
And it's
Exactly.
delicious. I love it still, you know, but
Oh
like it's
my
so
God.
funny that it was like an epicenter for chaos. It was bizarre.
And the stories are going back so far. You know, there's a civil rights protest, there were
Mm.
Indian riots. Uh, you know, someone was talking about the bar that was on the corner. I mean, I'm gonna keep digging on this podcast, and I don't know what I'm gonna find, but it's really interesting to me. And I've never met anyone from Albuquerque who didn't have that same kind of confused question, like, what's the deal with this place?
Yeah, it was interesting. Like and like your interviews have touched on it a lot. Just this like, I don't know what, it's always been a hard thing to really pinpoint the vibe that 80s and 90s Albuquerque just carried and presented to someone that wasn't there. And
No.
I'm sure you know like the dynamic of like when you get two or three of us together out of town, like it happens here in Seattle, and we just start talking about like pretty soon we're talking about someone getting dragged by their hair out of a car, and then
Yeah.
he got kicked in the curb, and then he and then we're looking around and people are just like staring at us like we're fucking describing
Like,
a prison riot or something. But like, no, that was a Tuesday.
yeah.
But I will say this, like, who was Richard Agee?
Yep.
Your interview with him,
Yeah.
his observation on the three strikes rule, fascinating.
Like
I
mind.
never thought about that.
I didn't either.
Holy shit.
I didn't either. And
It explains so much.
I had been conducting interviews with people and I kept asking what happened in 88? What happened in 89? What changed? Did the cocaine come to town? Like something happened. The vibe went from like, hey, we're partying to suddenly very different. And all of those factors contribute, but that was so enlightening.
It's
Leave it to
crazy,
Richard.
right?
Yeah, because I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just like when you're one step away from just total incarceration and you just come to Albuquerque instead.
And
And in
I don't know.
droves.
Yeah, in droves. And Richard Agee, I don't know which portion of the interview it is in, but he talked about how the war zone was so dangerous because you had Crips and Bloods living next door to each other because they had all just come from California.
One, I'm gonna jump around.
Okay.
When I was in Scared of Chaka, we did a lot of touring
Hmm.
all over. We did the States like a dozen times. We did Japan, Europe, half a dozen times. We did a lot of touring. We were always gone. So that meant I couldn't really hold down a real job
Hmm.
in Albuquerque. So I ended up with like a lot of random, really bizarre jobs. Steve Island had a friend that owned Mr. Frosty ice cream trucks.
Okay.
No, I know.
Okay,
I
no,
know.
that sounds
So
cool.
the
Yeah.
vans you'd see with
Sorry.
like the music and
Yeah.
the fucking lights and all that shit, and buy a popsicle. Um, he told me to, he got me an interview there, and it was the guy that ran it. I forget his name, but he was another just like gianter, bigger than Steve and balder, and just like you know from the scene, and but from a long time ago. Like I didn't know him at all.
Okay.
He ran it. His wife did the books. It was a whole vibe. I remember going in my first day of the job, learning that what you do is you get in the yard with a bunch of other drivers. You're given a shopping cart, and you give the shopping cart to John, the Iceman, who was
Hmm.
always in like this full-bodied like from the movie The Thing, where it's just like Arctic because he has to go in the giant walk-in freezer
Yeah.
and fill out or yeah, fill up the cart with what you filled out. So it's like he brings out a bunch of drumsticks and you know. So, well, but what it is you are essentially buying that and you owe whatever it
Oh,
cost
okay.
at
Hmm.
the end of the day. But that also means you can sell it for whatever you want or not at all. You can give it away or sell literally anything else from
Oh,
the like anything. And I'm not saying people
okay.
did, but like you were allowed to. Well, not allowed
Okay.
to, but
No,
you,
you could.
you
Oh, yeah, there's potential
so
there.
a lot of potential. So first day on the job, and I was to take over a route that this guy was giving me because he was retiring and going to the Bahamas. He finally saved up enough money. I don't know. It sounded really. I didn't ask too many questions, but what I did learn was that every truck, at least in that company, and the surrounding companies in Albuquerque had a specific route, and you needed to adhere to it. And if you didn't, it would be a problem. And there was kind of a turf thing, and you kind of had to just really stay within. So he was, driving me around and having me like kind of take notes and memorize where we're gonna go. And like every morning at like 11:30, you had to go to this one little. It's like an apartment complex. He parks, he turns the lights on and the song, and then all the doors open, and it's a bunch. It's like a halfway house for ex-cons, and they come out because they're used to having food brought to them at the same time every day.
Okay.
And so that's an easy, I don't know, $200. So then
Okay.
we have to go to the next, and it's all timed and all this stuff. So it's like 3 in the afternoon, and we're driving. We're in Wyoming, and then we're going towards the war zone. And I'm like, okay, cool. We're in a loud van that has the side of it welded out, and it goes 40 miles an hour tops. He's sitting on a cardboard box full of cash, and we're announcing our presence with lights and loud sounds, and we're just going into the war zone. And I'm like, cool, what's up? What are we doing? And we just go in, and I'd never been in the war zone like in the daytime and the night. It was like always, you know.
Okay.
And so we end up stopping at a big cul-de-sac in the middle of the war zone, and all these kids, these like real happy, wonderful kids, just surround the van, and they're just like laughing and playing, and he knows some of their names, and he's just like, and no one's buying ice cream. They're just, gathered around. A door opens from the center house in the cul-de-sac. It opens, and these two really big African American gentlemen come out, and they kind of look around, and they say something inside. And then this guy comes out. He's short. He's got cracker in really bad old English on his stomach, and he's flanked by the two dudes, and they just walk through. And then he lays like half a rack, like he puts, or like it was like $500, and then it's just ice cream's flying. And so it was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So that reminded me of the Richard H. And
Well, you
then he's
just
like,
don't know which way that story's gonna go.
and yeah, so and we're kind of like just chilling and like talking, and my guy is like, so this is Dave. He's going to be taking over the route, and the man's like, oh, cool, cool. He goes, do you have a piece? And I'm like, yeah, what? He's like, well, do you have a piece? You're gonna need to be holding if you're coming in here. And I'm like, yeah, no. And he's like, well, come back tonight at 9:30 and just come straight here and I'll hook you up. And I decided I wasn't trying to catch a murder case for a Choco Taco, and I just ended up not going there anymore. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, so you didn't take the truck in the war zone.
I decided to not use that particular part of the route.
I don't blame you.
That was a trippy job. Every day, there was at least one person at the end of the day that had like a black eye, because you would have all this money, and if you were a kid, you'd talk to your best friend, hey, give me a black eye, we'll split the money, and we'll say I got mugged or whatever. When you came in, they were so used to this game, they would take the kid with the black eye in a room. And I don't know what happened in that room, but then you wouldn't see him. He wouldn't, like, nothing
Yeah.
bad, but like he wouldn't
Yeah.
work there anymore, and the money would
Yeah.
have to return.
Yeah.
But that happened it was the weirdest job, but I made a lot of money, like a lot. Weird for me back then. It was
Yeah.
just weird. So crazy.
Well,
It's a cash business. It's like, you can do a
whatever you
lot.
want.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a Scared of Chaka video with an ice
Mm.
cream truck in the war zone.
I think there's a video that has me in the ice cream truck for like 2 seconds,
Really?
because our drummer Ron was always Super 8ing, like the Super 8 camera, everything.
Okay.
And he
Okay.
caught me doing the job once and stuck it in a video because he thought it was hilarious. So it
I
might
didn't.
exist.
I'm wondering, did you serve subpoenas from this ice cream truck?
How did you hear about that? That's
uh,
wild. So TJ told you about my job as a process owner. Yep.
Yeah, he just said you guys served subpoenas together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, another weird random job you could have between tours. Also lucrative. It's like 30, $40 paper that you'd serve. So back then, you're not supposed to read the subpoenas or the summonses, but you always do. And the last one I served, the one that I decided I don't need to do this anymore, was in a trailer park, and I brought it to the guy, and he pulled a gun on me. And I know that his paper was for not wanting to pay back his student loan. So I was like, we're dealing with that level of
Wow.
desperation now. I think I'm good. But yeah, I had that job. It was kind of fun. I'd always eat at Bob's Fish and Chips for lunch. I don't know why.
That was just
Oh,
the
like,
spot.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Pretend I'm like Ron Bell or something.
I remember Ron Bell when those first came out. That was such a big deal, and now they're
Yeah.
everywhere. Like
You
everybody's got
mean
one of those commercials.
yeah, well, Better Call Saul style, right?
Yeah, now it's a
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. It's a total thing. It's crazy. Like I
And
go to Albuquerque, it's like every other billboard is just some comical, over the top, like bodybuilding angle or dragon angle or twins. It's wild.
well, and I remember those first Ron Bell commercials. Those were like really kind of weird and not
Totally. Remember
anymore.
the one where there's the bikers in the park and then he comes out of the bush?
I just remember like his name over and over again.
Huh? Yeah. Oh yeah, he was everywhere.
That's funny. Albuquerque's got him.
Mhm.
So were you playing in bands before you even finished at Freedom?
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, nothing. Some all ages stuff, mostly house parties, but yeah, yeah, yeah. And then like a lot of clubs that just lasted for maybe a month. There wasn't a really heavy infrastructure for that stuff
Okay.
back then. But
Okay.
it kind of helped you be creative. Like I remember you'd rent a generator from Home Depot, and then you just do a show
And
anywhere. There
yeah.
was a day we did shows at every Taco Bell parking lot.
Oh my God, I just saw this. That's funny. Like
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
really funny. Was this the Taco Bell tour or something?
Something, something like that. And then we'd play a couple songs, the cops would come, and then we'd go to the next one. I did a festival out where I don't know, maybe Rio Rancho is now or part of Rio Rancho is, but it was called the Lava Rock Festival. And we
Okay.
just set up a bunch of generators and just did an all day every band in town festival. That was
Oh,
fun.
how cool is that? That's
Yeah,
great.
because well, there wasn't like a whole lot of like, like all ages stuff. Like now, moving to Seattle, I had to get over how supportive and wonderful the all ages scene was because growing up in Albuquerque, I had this twisted, like Darwinistic notion that you have to be tough and you have to just like don't get help from the government. Like it's like dumb, dumb, dumb stuff because it's great that, people
Yeah.
help kids, whatever,
Yeah.
but back, for us, we had to just make it up as we were going along and hope we didn't get busted, along the way.
Or just the trouble that came along. Uh, I know a few people have referred to how much safer things got when you had clubs to play in as opposed to house parties where it was just a free for all of people
Yeah,
fighting and
yeah. When I was in the WADs, we played with Green Day when I think they played the Nerd House in Frat Row, and there was a shooting, and they had to hide in their van. It's before they looked like GBH, and
yeah,
they kind of just looked like hippies.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know what you're going to get. What were the bands in high school?
For me, I was in Social Insecurity. I fucking love that name. And our stickers were like the Social Security card, but just in, and then the
That's
numbers were all
cool.
66666. Uh, that was a Heights band I joined. I remember joining a Heights band, and I felt like, ooh, big time. I'm in a Heights band. Wow,
Who was in that
cool.
band with you?
Bryce Tappan, Al Alex Linton, and then my longtime friend Linton, she was on the drums, and they went on to be in like Henry's Dress
Okay.
and Eiler Set, like a lot of like one of the first bands or group of people that left Albuquerque that kind of killed it, but really killed it. But yeah, that was my Heights band the Social Insecurity, and then that turned into the Boscos, and I was in the Boscos with Kelly Fagan, who I was in Blockhead with as well, and Ray Cordova was in that band
Okay.
with me too. It was all very incestuous. It was like a lot of I was in a band called Monkey Wrench, but it was always just like the same crew of people. And I remember like I went out of town, was out of the country for a while. Then I came back and I had this notion like, well, it's time to. I want to really do a band. I want to really do a thing that leaves town and makes records. And for me, like step one was I have to only be joining a band with people I've never met. Like it can't, because like I was like, okay, what's different about everything? Oh, I literally have known some of these people since fucking high school. Like, I was just gonna just try from scratch, and that was Scared of Chaka. That was like I
Okay.
met, yeah, 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 and that was like I met Damien, and we had our first drummer Jeff, and yeah, that was just like a whole, it was exciting because it felt like I don't know, it was different and like gave me ambition to do more stuff and write more stuff. Yeah.
It's kind of opened your world a little bit to work with other people.
Yeah, and I don't really even know why, but for me it did. For me it really really helped. And then our second drummer joined after that first album, and that's when we really started taking off and doing tons and tons of touring and tons of recording. And yeah, there was like a magic moment in Albuquerque where in my opinion, we had like just the greatest bands. It was like a hot like year and a half or 2 years where it's just like the best bands of any underground genre. Like we had like the best Asterisk bands. We had the best like Sub Pop Single of the Week band. We had the best hardcore band. Like we had the best like new wave band,
Okay.
mods, like just everything. It was just for a minute, it felt really, really, really cool. And it's still cool, but I don't know what it was about that mid late '90s and like the Golden West, and before it burned down, Dingo Bar,
Yeah. Yeah.
Beyond Ordinary.
Oh,
Remember that?
yeah.
Beyond Ordinary. The Wads were going to play with Gigi Allen, and I remember me and Frank Bellino, who was on bass. We were ready with our hefty bags because we didn't want to get hit in the face with Gigi Allen's poop. And that was like the day before was the infamous arrest of Gigi Allen in Texas,
Oh,
the one that you read about. So yeah, he just got, and
yeah.
then we never got to play with Gigi.
How long did Scared of Chaka go?
Started in '93, and then I don't know if we ever officially. No, that's not true. We did officially break up. I had a tantrum and broke us up in '99.
Okay.
I did. It was a hard, rough year of touring, and it was me and Ron. We had a new bass player, uh, and I think we were a little gnarly for the bass player. And at the end, we were supposed to go to Europe from New York and have like this huge festival tour, and it was going to be great and ratchet us up to the next level, and it was going to be. And then our new bass player at that point, he quit in New York the day before we were gonna fly out. So I had a whole meltdown and like breaking up the band, fuck this shit. And I stayed in Brooklyn for, I don't know, a few months. And
Okay.
then Ron came back to Albuquerque. And it was around then that I was starting to think about like the Shins, and like I'd already made like a connection with those guys through Flake music. And, I did like the bass line for New Slang and some house party shows. But it was always like just like a side thing. But when this happened, I was like, well, maybe there's potentially more things to do. Yeah, that was just such a crazy night. I remember I was with Kelly. We were at this park up there by her house.
Morningside
Yeah,
Park.
Morningside. Yeah, and then these two cars with these homeboys in it, just kind of yeah, they went to town on me. I did that thing where I stupidly didn't like run away.
Oh,
Like like Albuquerque is just like you've interviewed a lot of really, really serious motherfuckers, like some serious welterweight contenders. Like,
it's
I mean, I
yeah.
remember these guys. You know
Yeah,
what I
they're
mean?
the
And
only
they're
people I knew.
and they're so cool, and I love them all. You know,
Yeah, me
like I
too.
remember Tommy Bottoms was talking about Ed Tafoya. Holy
Yeah.
God, damn that motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like, and also like the sweetest guy. You know, but like if you weren't big as hell like that, you had to just like, I don't know, learn. I learned that it wasn't the end of the world to get punched in the face.
Okay.
And that gives you this like extra, like, well, you're not scared of a few things now. And then I learned like I can swing wildly and maybe damage someone before I get knocked out. Like it's just that stuff where like the fear goes
Yeah.
away, and then you use your mouth a lot, your words. You're able to just talk shit really really quick. Eye contact, posture, stuff that you carry with you out of town, where people just get like, ah. But yeah, that night I just was like standing up to these five big motherfuckers. They were just yeah these gnarly cholos that you know,
Just
and then
cruising
one of
looking for
them
somebody beat up.
yeah, dude, and one of them just blindsided me, and I ended up on the curb, got stomped on a little bit, and then I remember looking up, and like one of their girlfriends was like clumsily trying to get on the hood of the car with her 40, and there was like a
So
moment where people just like had a breath and were like, "What? So what are we doing again?" And at that point, Kelly Fagan starts running from across the park. He has a baseball bat, and they just peel it out. It's just so hard to properly describe and pinpoint just that like something's always simmering.
it,
Something's
uh,
just always maybe you have to master the art of looking behind you without looking behind you. You have to just like know when to hunch, know when to not. Like it's just a whole code, whole
it
language,
is.
and
It,
you
like the
know,
prison yard.
kinda, yeah, which is wild as shit. Um, all right, well, I have a theory about like I was talking about that time in Albuquerque when it was just all those amazing bands. And a lot of them weren't hardcore. A lot of them were not like they'd never played at Club Rec or they weren't at the Morning Star riots. Like they just had this
Okay.
whole other
Yes.
scope where they were just kind of trying to do different music, and it was scary for them to do that. Because
Sure.
not necessarily they wouldn't necessarily be picked on, but there was always just this like play harder and faster. What the fuck? Yeah, like just So you had to, I don't know, like a band, like you're not going to hear the young adults make a song called "Don't Fuck with Big Ed." That's that's going to be vulgar issue. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like
Yeah.
there's going to be complete like different vibes, and different people do different things. And I don't know, man. I think a lot of it really did inform fundamentally how people wrote stuff that weren't
Oh,
punk
yeah.
rockers, I think. Because a lot of these bands, like from like, like Shins, Drags, they would go out of town and they would just kind of like Big Damn Crazy, they would just like carry themselves differently. And even if they weren't like in a hardcore environment, they had just come from a situation where they were just like, oh my God, what the fuck? So you have to like build up a certain thing. And I think maybe that also helps you just excel and get awesome. I mean, that I shouldn't encourage that, and no one should experience that, and it's awful. But
Uh,
I don't know.
but most all of us say we wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean,
uh,
it was. Fun as shit.
Yeah. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. I mean, I learned to be really tough at a really young age. Not much phases me in life, and I'm part of that is coming from Albuquerque, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. I'm here in Seattle. I've been here for, I don't know, 25 years. I go back home like or I try to go home like 2 times a year. Or I need to do it more. I was just there a week or two ago. But being in Seattle, there's a lot of other New Mexicans here that have just that don't we don't necessarily know each other, but we just landed in the Pacific Northwest for whatever reason. And the Albuquerque people, we see each other
You can tell.
from a mile away. And it's to the point where now I'm just like, what high school did you go to?
Yeah. You could just walk
No
up
one
and
went
be
to
like,
Valley. Yeah,
nobody went.
yeah, no Valley kids. Like I've met one Valley kid. It's a lot of Cibola. It's it's a lot. Yeah, yeah. It's a lot of. But anyway, yeah. It's interesting. You can just see us like everywhere. If you know, you know.
And what I think is also funny is how friendly we are. It's very much a culture of like, what's up? What's happening? And being nice to people. Apparently, those of us that grew up in bad neighborhoods learn to be really polite, friendly.
Yeah. I mean, there could be. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's just like maybe a respect thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just like you're not. You're kind of cutting through some bullshit. I don't
Hmm.
know.
When you're in Mexico, do you
Uh,
find that when you're in Mexico, do Mexican people look each other in the eye and show
yeah. It
respect?
depends on the. Yeah. It depends on the city. It depends on like But yeah, certainly, certainly. I mean, it's a whole different vibe. I will say, like being in Portland and Seattle, you like watching the natives, the people that ended up here. That's a whole like a long time ago. That's that's different. I was in Portland for maybe half a year before I ended up here in Seattle. So I'm living there. It's like 2000, the year 2000, and I remember I was pretty fresh at Albuquerque, and I would just walk to work. And when I'd get to the curb to cross the street, cars would stop as they should and politely allow me the choice. And I remember just like the first time it happened, I was like, I was just ready. I was like,
Yeah, like
what the
they
fuck?
stopped for trouble. You're about to get
It
jumped.
took it took forever for me and it was just like the weird niceness that isn't necessarily, I don't know.
It's a,
There's a lot of like the talk about like the liberal bubble here and like the Seattle Freeze, where there's like a lot of people that sort of present as super nice and friendly, but
are
definitely,
not. No.
you know,
Yeah.
and it's yeah, 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 yeah. I like, people here say that I have a really loud mouth that doesn't stop, and I think well, that's on you guys. Talk more. What the fuck? Damn it.
I tell them that's what makes you such a great artist.
Ah, that's sweet of you.
You write your songs?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I've written in pr pretty damn near every band I've been in, except Shins would be James brings the song with his guitar and he sings and plays it, and then we would assemble it with him, and then we'd kind of like write part of it with him. He was a
Okay.
writer, but and another band called The Intelligence, kind of similar vibe. Yeah, for the most part, I'm a songwriter. Do my own stuff.
Is that what you were saying earlier? You think all of that weird Albuquerque vibe contributes to songwriting?
Totally, man. I mean, yeah. I towards the end of my stay in Scared of Chaka, or I'm sorry, my stay in Albuquerque, I started noticing my lyrics in Scared of Chaka had a lot to do with just like wanting to get the fuck out of Albuquerque. Not for any other reason than just like everyone needs to like leave their home
Yes.
at some point, and then you start
Yes.
identifying. not scary stuff, but just like kind of socially irritating stuff and like the same people and just that thing in Albuquerque where you're you're paid money, you're paid just enough to like do this, but you can't really. It's just, it's
Uh,
certain
it's
certain situations.
yeah, no, it's very true. Well,
The
scraping
land of
by.
entrapment.
The land of entrapment. Come on vacation and leave on probation, and we're not kidding. I talked to my stepdad the other day. The man's 84 years old. And I'm like, why'd you come to Albuquerque? And he said, oh, when I got out of jail in Las Vegas. I was like, so even my 84-year-old stepfather was an outlaw that
Right.
ran to New Mexico.
I love that shit. I love just going back in history and seeing like there's a lot of serial killers that end up in like Portland and Seattle, like in
Okay.
history. And there's a theory about like the great like the manifest destiny where all the white folks left from the East Coast or Midwest and worked their way west. So you're having a group of people and they're just like the Donner Party. And then like, 2 weeks in, now they're eating each other. Maybe someone had to kill and open a horse to live inside of, like in Empire Strikes Back. By the time they climb over the mountains, maybe two of them are left. And it's the two craziest ones.
That is it,
It's
too.
the, you know what I mean? Those are the ones that they know what like human meat tastes like. They had to watch their fucking family die or kill other families, and they're just nuts. And then they set up shop around here, and then yeah, there's a lot of you can research it. There's a lot of bizarre
It's
serial
just
killers. Definitely.
it is funny. So it's not only the motivated that moved west, but it was just the truly sick and dangerous that made it all the way there.
Well, I'm obsessed with the Donner Party.
Are you?
I can't get enough of it. It's just I love the notion of just colonizers that just had this idea like, oh fuck it, this is our place now, and then like one weekend they're just eating each other. That's fucking amazing. I love that shit. You can't fucking make it up.
Mhm. Before you tell me about the shins, can you tell me about Flake? I haven't quite got the whole story on Flake. Uh,
Yeah, Flake. And then I think they found that there was another band called Flake, so they had to change the name to Flake Music.
okay, all
And it
right,
was it's four friends of mine that
okay,
lived in on Silver. I mean, they they didn't always live in Silver. They went to high school. They're like some
okay.
Cueva figures, but they'd known each other since high school, but they were doing like I was talking earlier about the bands that weren't necessarily doing
Hardcore.
like Reagan Youth or Discharge. They were doing stuff like Built to Spill and Pavement. Like so they were doing a little bit more. And it was like when that indie rock movement was really hitting, like Neutral Milk Hotel and Modest Mouse. And so they were doing Albuquerque's, that's who we had doing
Okay,
that. And they were the best at that. They were just like amazing. And I was in Scared Chaka, and like I just like I'd come off a tour and it was just like nonstop screaming and crazy. And then like with the bands, and then I'd come home and I was just like, oh my God, I need a break. And Flake Music just had this. The shows were always really really cool. You know, we all partied a whole lot, and we just kind of got to know each other. But yeah, they did a lot of house shows, and they played Golden West and Jingle Bar a lot, and Isaac Rock from Modest Mouse was a early early evangelist and fan of theirs, and convinced them to tour a little bit more. Kept in contact with James, and as James developed the Shins, that's when Isaac showed one of the demos to Sub Pop, and yeah, the rest is history. Yeah, he was definitely the front man of Flake Music as well, and he sang, but everyone like contributed musically to it. It was a lot
okay,
more of a shared communal. It was a lot more organic, old fashioned, just a band.
okay,
We're just going to make up a song in the same room at the same time.
okay,
Yeah, the songs were really, really, really good, really good. And then he was like, I'm just going to start doing some demos on my own. And he just started writing songs, and that was the Shins. And yeah, then that just kind of, the first The first embodiment was, I think, he and Marty, or he and Jesse. It was just him and one other, and there was a single called "Nature Bears a Vacuum," and it's insane. It's really, really, really good. And they wanted to play live, and his girlfriend at the time, Rose, said they needed a bass player and that I should ask James if I could play bass. And I didn't play bass, but I played guitar, and I just kind of faked it. And I ended up in Shins for, a little while, like super early. And yeah. We had there's a barbecue at the Silver House, and he was in the basement with his 8-track, and he said like, can you put a bass line on this, and I'm gonna be right back. And I put the heavens on, and it was New Slang. And I remember uh, a song that was really popular on the radio at that point was Nirvana's cover of "The Man Who Sold the World" by David Bowie.
Hmm. Hmm.
And the bass, for whatever reason, the bass line of that song was in my head, and I just kind of somehow, I don't know, that song, that bass line, Christmas No Celts, or David Bowie's bass line, has a lot to do with
Hmm.
that. But yeah, that was the first thing I did for the Shins.
That's
And
cool.
yeah, it's just like, buddies, just friends having a good time trying to make fun music. And I definitely was still in Scare Talk. That was my main thing. But, I moved here, and they're touring on Uninverted World. I'm working at Sub Pop. And then he called me up, and he's like, "How would you like to get back in the band?" And I'm like, check my bank account and then my schedule, and I'm like, yeah, we could do that.
I could do that.
Pretty much lived on the road for the majority of the 2000s, did a lot of recording, all that stuff. Yeah, it was
Right.
wild.
And you have traveled everywhere, haven't you? You have been all over.
Yeah. I haven't been to Alaska, and I haven't been to Russia. I haven't been to South America. That's a shame. That's a shock, but
Yeah.
to me. But yeah,
Yeah.
I like Australia a lot, New Zealand, Japan.
Wow.
Scared of Chaka did a lot of touring. So we played Osaka in Scared of Chaka, where when you play in Japan, you play the show, and then the show ends, and then you have to go to the after party. And the after party is like probably at someone's dad's restaurant or bar, and you go
Okay.
upstairs and they close it down, and you're there just, meeting, like, okay, this is the guy that did the silk screen posters, and then you have to shake his hand, you have a long conversation,
Oh.
and this is the guy that like did the, whatever, you're
Oh,
meeting
really?
everybody,
Yeah.
and it's nice, but then it's like the sun's coming up, and you're just, it's a lot. So we were we were on tour in Japan, and we're in Osaka. We're in the middle of one of those things, and I'm getting really, really tired, and I just kind of sneakily back out of the crowd, and I just need to get on the street. I need to get some fresh air. So I walk down. No one's in the restaurant. I just walk out the front door, and I just sit on the curb, and I'm just looking around, and it's like the nightclubby district, but it's all closed down, and I see like three figures coming up, and I can make out that it's a couple of like, sexy women, and they're giggling, and in the middle is a guy with food. And they're kind of laughing, and they're a little tipsy, and they walk past me, and then the guy looks at me, and he backs up, and he puts his hands on his knees and goes down face to face, and I look, and he's missing a pinky, and I can see a little ink coming down from his arm, and he says something in really, stern Japanese, and I'm just like, uh, and do you know Mike Bobroff?
I've heard of Mike. I don't know him.
He's an Albuquerque guy. He was our roadie, and he had done some years in the Marines, and he knew some rudimentary Japanese, and he kind of knew how to carry himself in that culture. And he came behind me. I didn't know, and like he says something in Japanese, and I look, and he's just smoking a cigarette, and then the guy looks up and stands up, and then they have a little funny but kind of tough talk, and then the girls get him and walk him down, and Mike puts a cigarette out and grabs me and throws me. He's like, "Do you have any idea what just fucking almost happened? That's Yakuza. You son of a bitch, you idiot!" And he's like, never get off the boat. Never get out of the van. So yeah, that's a Japan story.
Okay then. Stay inside.
Yeah,
Shake hands.
stay inside. Yeah,
Doors.
yeah,
Yeah. Shake hands. Wow.
yeah.
Wow. What year was that?
I miss Mike Bobroff. That
Is
was like 90, 97.
has
And
has
yeah,
Mike passed away? Did Mike pass
no,
away?
he's
No.
not at all. He's alive and kicking, but I'm going to tell him that people think he's dead because I think that's fucking hilarious. Another rumor about him was that he was a bus driver, like a city bus, like in Albuquerque, city bus driver. I don't know. I don't know how I got it in my head that he was a bus driver, but I remember we played New Year's Eve. Chaka did New Year's Eve at the launch pad, and I was there for a few days. Went to a party, and he showed up, and he's like, "Dude, you didn't meet up when I was in Seattle with Green Day." I'm like, "Yeah, bro. Did they give you some time off from your job?" And he's like, "What job?" Like, your bus driver job here in Albuquerque. And he's like, "What
What are
the
you
fuck are
talking
you
about?
talking about?" I'm like, "You're not a bus driver here, like a city bus?" And he's like, "Who's spreading that rumor?" And I said, "I guess me.
You just got it in your
I
head.
guess me. Yeah, I don't know how. But yeah, he's Mike, Mike Bobroff is the best, and he's yeah, he continued just doing road like tour manager for I think he did Rise Against or Against Me, one of those bands. I
Yeah.
always get them
Yeah.
mixed up because you both have Against. And then he
Yeah.
was in what was Jared Leto's band,
No.
Going to Mars. He was touring with that band,
With
and
that
then
band.
he toured with Green Day. He's been nonstop just touring. I think he did like might have been with Glore. I don't know. But
Well, I
yeah,
would
not a
love to.
city bus driver and definitely
Okay.
alive.
Is it the kind of guy to get me an interview? Not much of a talker.
I really hope so. And
Yeah.
I'll text him, I'll tell him to
Do.
do it because that would be the best thing ever.
Tell us what you're doing now, Dave.
I'm doing a New Mexico food small business up here and it's doing really well. And I think a lot of it's the New Mexico expats that miss their food, plus a lot of people that are just have never really had it.
Yeah.
I do a really good carne adobada. I do a really good like Golden Pride style breakfast burrito. Yeah, and it's I'm not necessarily I'm not inventing the wheel. I'm not like a skilled chef in that way, but I'm replicating it really spot on.
Okay.
Like I've done a lot of research and a lot of tests and I've kind of figured it out. And now we're having roasts and stuff. We had like a big green chili roast like a month ago and just kind of trying to bring that here.
Oh, that's
It's
great.
interesting. Yeah, because it kind of opens up a whole thing. It opens up a whole conversation. It opens up a whole like awareness, and it reminds me of just I don't know, man, something about that state, something about that
Something about
atmosphere.
it.
I love the idea that our green chili was developed in like 1910 by a horticulturalist that was local, and it was originally called New Mexico Number Nine, and
Really?
it's the same. Yeah, it's the same. Like not even hybrid. It's the same seed strain that is best in that specific alkaline of soil and that specific altitude, that specific lack of humidity, and you can kind of just like follow the line, like it's almost like wine or something. Like I just love
That's
that
really cool.
connection. Yeah. I love the idea that no matter where you are in New Mexico, that's like a through line. You can go to like Espanola and there's this incredible natillas. You can go to like Taos and find like amazing sopapillas. Like it's just this thing that's very much just New Mexico.
Just New Mexico.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not Colorado, Texas, or
Nope.
Arizona.
Nope.
It's just New Mexico, and people want to be New Mexico, but there's people that are calling like Serrano chilies Hatch green chili.
No. Or
Like
Pueblo
we
green
don't even
chilies
call it
now.
Hatch green chili, you know?
Woohoo.
Like we never even said Hatch. We said green or red.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's people really want this so bad. So doing it in an authentic way up here
Oh, good for
is
you.
yeah, and I started doing it very selfishly just so I could eat it, but it's starting to go somewhere. So yeah,
Oh, how cool is
that's what I'm
that?
doing mostly.
Because that's real food,
Yeah.
not just like fancy food, but real food. I mean, I raised two sons and I feed my dad, my husband. I mean, there is no better food for feeding men than a breakfast burrito.
Yeah, just green chili stew. I make bomb enchiladas. I make good sopapillas. But yeah, man. Yeah, it's really, really, really fun doing it. Yeah, it's really great. It helps
Well,
helps the soul.
well, now I will travel to Seattle so I can get me some good New Mexican food. Oh,
Scared of Chaka has been doing some reunion shows.
okay.
And yeah. We did Albuquerque in New Year's Eve, a couple shows at the launch pad. No, one show at the launch pad. Yeah, one show at the launch pad and just on New Year's Eve. And then we did a couple shows in Minneapolis, which is like a city that we have a connection to through like a lot of friends and other bands we tour with back in the day. So weirdly, we're doing that. And my daughter always asks, "Is this which one of these? Which one of the bands is this? Is this the band where your friends help you yell about girls you had crushes on in the 1900s?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah, this is that band.
it is." But yeah, it's been fun. We're still able to play those songs. It's pretty
Where
yeah.
are each
You
of
get a
you?
little winded, but
Where are each
we're
of you?
all in different states.
So you just,
Yeah, all of us are in different states. Ron, our drummer, is in Oregon, in Portland, and Damien, our bass player, is in LA, and I'm here in Seattle. So it's not simple to get together, and we
yeah.
have to like coordinate a lot. But yeah, we did Mexico City in December. That was really, really fun. But yeah, we're doing that a lot. I'm sorry, I'm doing that a lot more performance-wise than other bands, but I'm still like writing and recording on my own. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to stop it. It's really, really fun. But it's fun. I enjoy it. Well, I hope you got some good stuff today. Like
Well, I did.
it's so weird when I talk about it because I'm just assuming this is the most boring crap and whoever I'm telling this to already knows it, you know? So like what? Will do.
Thanks, Dave. All your friends say hi to you. I think they're going to be happy to see your
Ah,
face.
awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. And wonderful meeting you and thanks for
Thank
making
you.
the time.
Thanks. Tell everyone to
All right.
subscribe to my channel. Say, hey, everybody.
Will do.
Thank you.
Will do. All
All
right.
right. Take care, Dave.